Attention. The action of dealing with or taking special care of someone or something. These past few days, and that is my chair. These past few days have been rough, you could say. But not so like bad things are happening to me, but more so my mental health has kind of just been plummeting, maybe. I've kind of sort of thought of it as like sort of depressive state. But I don't feel depressed. Um, but that's not the point. The point I'm trying to get at is that lately I have felt like no one has cared about me or my passions or my art or anything. And I don't know where these feelings come from, if that makes sense. Because sometimes, at first, I just feel a little dejected if people who didn't respond to me when I said something or or whatever. Because I hate um, I hate being the last one to say something. And of course, I'm the type of person who's like, oh, I gotta say this thing. It's funny real quick before the topic goes over. But the thing is that um, I've I've always hated being the last one to say something, or at least like whenever I say something and no one responds, and I feel like those feelings have been amplified at this one time. I'm not gonna get into any specifics, and I don't really hold it against these people. It's more my fault for just looking into it too deeply. But I was playing a game with my friends, right? And one of the levels had you like destroy this one character's apartment. And at first, I just went with the game because it was like that's just how you're supposed to play the game. And then friends were just like, "Why would you do that?" Like, and I remember one of them was like, "Why did you do that?" Slash, genuinely, why did you do that? And that stuck with me for a bit because I truly felt at that time they didn't care about me. They didn't care about what I felt. They didn't care about how I feel. And they cared more about a fictional character than how I was doing. And at that time, I was like at the very mid middle of like feeling like no one had cared. And so that just kind of solidified it. And I remember I apologized like twice to them, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened. And I feel like a clown for doing that. Like, I shouldn't have let that happen. You get me? Like, sure, they probably didn't mean it seriously. At least, like, because they told me not to do it. I felt like, oh, they're playing with me. Haha, I'll go destroy this person's apartment anyway. But it made me feel like they didn't care. And a little bit after that, I felt better. There was a point where I was like, oh, okay, I'm all better now. People do care about me. But recently, I feel like it's gotten worse to the point where, um, hold on, it's gotten worse to the point where it feels like I have to make people prove. I have to make people prove that they care about me, which is, of course, like something that you should never do. You shouldn't have to make people prove. People that obviously like you and like want to hang out with you, No, you have to make people prove that they care about you. But literally, I planned it out this week to do it, and it was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. But the whole idea I had was for this week, since I'm going away to I'm going somewhere this Saturday. I'm not gonna get into specifics, but I had I had planned on like just like being offline for 3 days or so, until then. And then when people were like, "Hey, has anyone seen Ghost Trick Anna? Has anyone seen Edie?" I'd be like, "Oh, I'm right here. I haha. Things have been so hectic nowadays," which is kind of like a lie. It's a half lie, but it's still a lie nonetheless. Because in theory, I would be doing it just to fulfill some weird, not complex. That would make it sound like it's something I enjoy, but maybe just like some weird fantasy or not. It's hard to describe, but some weird self-fulfilling theory or whatever. Like you've proven yourselves to actually care about me. I no longer am going to act this way, and sometimes I've I've honestly felt like saying things to just to make people upset, and it's like I would never. It's like I'm acting out of character because it feels like I'm not me. Like I'm acting in ways I wouldn't do, like doing things impulsively. In theory, of course, because I don't think I have the morals to ever act it out. At least my morals are strong enough. But the whole idea of just like I'm going to do is insert something stupid or dangerous or just tomfoolery ish, just to get people to like notice me and pay attention to me and all this other stuff too. And I realized that's such a terrible mentality to have just by talking to some people. So that's the second part. Addiction. And the definition to addiction would be all right then. Addiction. The fact or condition of being addicted to a certain substance, thing, or activity. In this case, you could say I am addicted to the idea of just having people have attention on me like that. Because the last time I ever had someone like pay, a lot of people just pay attention to me was just was like this whole Discord mod situation. Dude's a whole scumbag and a half. But long story short, just being treated unfairly in like a Discord like mod chat, and then just leaving just after just like I'm not dealing with this anymore. And everyone was like, "Oh, you okay?" And all this other stuff too. And I just had to be like, "Oh, haha, I'm actually fine. I'm cool actually. I'm cool. I'm good." And you know, it felt nice just to have just a bunch of people just say, "Hey, you doing all right?" You know. Um, but also, I feel like half of it is partially my fault because it's like it's not like I don't get enough attention at like in real life. Of course, I talk to everyone all the time, but it's more so that like online, it's like, "Hey, I drew this thing," and no one is saying anything about it. But it'll be fine if it was like just something I doodled like really quickly, whatever. But if it's related to like a conversation and I post the art that was related to said conversation, it's like no one says anything. And it's like, and even one of my other friends has said like that's scum. And that's something that like, that's kind of dumb. But, but still, it's like, even then, that's still just a terrible mentality to have, you know? Just wanting to do stupid things just to get people to look at you, look your way, and all this other stuff too. That's not good. And so, basically, I was suggested another plan by talking to a family member, Locals Browse. Um, Basically, just take a break from Discord. Maybe not from all social media because I'm not really on social media like that. Really, the most I have is like Discord for talking to people, and then Tumblr for posting art. And I don't even use Twitter. I just use Twitter to follow like Twitter specific artists. That's literally it. But but basically just kind of disconnect myself from talking to other people online, you know. And Well, sometimes I do kind of slip on there sometimes just to see like, oh, what's everyone talking about, you know, and all this other stuff too. I also have to not put myself back in that hole of just like, okay, I announced my leave and no one's saying anything. Y'all really don't freak with me like that. And it's something I'm trying not to do because that's not true. Sometimes people just read it and are like, oh, okay, and don't know what to say. I'm one of those people. Sometimes I read things and I don't know what to say. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, cool. Because I don't really know what to say. I'm awkward. But I'm guessing that's like a different case from what we're to talk about. But whatever. The point is that I'm taking a break from Discord. Long, short, and simple. I don't want to constantly dig myself this hole of just like no one cares about me. Ooh, boo, 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 boo. And it's like obvious. Sometimes it's like hard to accept that fact. So I'm going to take a break and see where that leads me. And if my break is up, it shouldn't be too long, of course. But if my break is over, I'll go and see like, oh, okay, am I feeling a lot better? And if I feel better, I'll hop back on. It's whatever. But you know, it's my break. I need time to myself. I don't really think I've ever had like designated time to myself as like personally. Because when I draw, when I do anything that creativity wise, my first instinct is to like post it or show it off. And my thing is that like I never really draw for myself. Usually I like draw my sketchbook. That's like stuff for me. But I never really just draw something just to draw something, if that makes sense. Or draw just because it's something I'd like to see. Pertaining to my interests and my hobbies and things that I like instead of just trying to fulfill something online, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, this was longer than I wanted it to be because I thought about it in my head because I thought about making this whole thing in my head, but, pardon, but the thing is that I actually decided to put mouth to mic. It's like, okay, what was I going to say again? And it's just like, ugh. So, long story short, I've been in a constant, maybe not depressive slope, but definitely in just the mindset of just having a very negative mindset due to Discord. And I believe that I need to take a hot break and just sit it out and just stay off of there for a little bit, just for my own health. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I basically just making this just to talk, really. Maybe see if anyone else relates to my whole situation and whatnot. But also because I don't want to worry everyone. I would constantly say like, oh, I'm on a break, blah 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 blah. But also because it's my YouTube channel. I want to be personal with it. I want to be more friendly on here, if that makes sense. I want to open up a little bit. I want to open up the crack or whatever. But whatever. That's the end of this recording. Um, let's see. Hold on. Okay, it doesn't pick up. Okay. Anyways, that's the end of this recording, and I will see you later.